There are two beasts described that operate at the end of time. Let's read about them in Revelation 13. And I stood upon the sand of the sea, and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his head the name of blasphemy. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion. And the dragon, now this has been revealed in the previous chapter as Satan or Lucifer, the dragon gave him his power, and his seat, and great authority. And I saw one of his heads, as it were, wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed, and all the world wondered after the beast. And they worshipped the dragon which gave power unto the beast, and they worshipped the beast, saying, Who is like unto the beast? Who is able to make war with him? And there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies, and power was given unto him to continue 42 months. And he opened his mouth in blasphemy against God, to blaspheme his name, and his tabernacle, and them that dwell in heaven. And it was given unto him to make war with the saints, and to overcome them, and power was given him over all kindreds, and tongues, and nations. And all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him, whose names are not written in the book of life of the Lamb slain from the foundation of the world. Revelation 13, verses 1 to 8. So here we have an overall description of the Roman Catholic Church, from its inception through its weakness from the deadly wound, and its return to full power just before the second coming. I will refer to it as the first beast. Now let us look at the second beast, which exists during the later stages of the first beast. And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. And he exerciseth all the power of the first beast before him, and causeth the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. And he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men, and deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth, that they should make an image to the beast, which had the wound by a sword, and did live. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak, and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand, or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, save he had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Revelation 13, verses 11 to 17. Now this is an overall description of Protestant America, from its rising out of nowhere to its creation of an image to the first beast and its destruction of all freedoms. Or is it? Does this refer to Protestant America? Adventists have always said it does, but that is now changing. There are new claims among Adventists that the second beast is not what we thought it was. Here is the online statement of a prominent Adventist website writer. The problem in Revelation 12 and 13 isn't nationalism. That's not even hinted at. It's globalism. The lamb-like beast will speak like a dragon, which will require a very strong neo-totalitarian central government. Things seem to be moving in that direction rapidly. That's a bold claim, and totally against what Adventism has believed and taught since its beginnings. This new theology claims a one-world government, globalism, will be the second beast speaking like a dragon. It feeds into fears of a new world order, a great reset, a United Nations takeover. There's just one minor problem. This theory is utterly opposed to some of the clearest statements of inspiration that we have been given. Let's take a look in Great Controversy. One nation, and only one, meets the specifications of this prophecy. It points unmistakably to the United States of America. Again and again the thought, almost the exact words of the sacred writer, has been unconsciously employed by the orator and the historian in describing the rise and growth of this nation. The beast was seen coming up out of the earth, and according to the translators, the word here rendered coming up literally signifies to grow or spring up as a plant. And as we have seen, the nation must arise in territory previously unoccupied. And he had 2 horns like a lamb. The lamb-like horns indicate youth, innocence, and gentleness, fitly representing the character of the United States when presented to the prophet as coming up in 1798. The lamb-like horns and dragon voice of the symbol point to a striking contradiction between the professions and the practice of the nation thus represented. The speaking of the nation is the action of its legislative and judicial authorities. By such action, it will give the lie to those liberal and peaceful principles which it has put forth as the foundation of its policy. The prediction that it will speak as a dragon and exercise all the power of the first beast plainly foretells a development of the spirit of intolerance and persecution that was manifested by the nations represented by the dragon and the leopard-like beast. And the statement that the beast with 2 horns causeth the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast indicates that the authority of this nation is to be exercised in enforcing some observance which shall be an act of homage to the papacy, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast. Here is clearly presented a form of government in which the legislative power rests with the people, a most striking evidence that the United States is the nation denoted in the prophecy. Great Controversy 440 to 443. What did the Internet writer state so authoritatively? The problem in Revelation 12 and 13 isn't nationalism. That's not even hinted at. It's globalism. Someone is grievously wrong, either Ellen White or our modern prognosticator. The 2 predictions are completely opposite. You will have to decide where you place your trust. Personally, I will stick to inspiration. There is one more key point about this untrustworthy prediction. Note his exact words. The lamb-like beast will speak like a dragon. This implies that the speaking as a dragon will be in the future. It will speak sometime later. Where does Scripture say that? The word will nowhere appears in Revelation 13, verse 11. It says, "And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon." Not he will speak, but rather he spake. A minor detail? Not really, as it changes a current event to a future event. It implies we don't have to worry about the second beast now, as it will only be dangerous in the future. What does Scripture say about adding our own words to the book of Revelation? Just a few chapters later, in Revelation 22, "For I testify unto every man that heareth the words of the prophecy of this book. If any man shall add unto these things, God shall add unto him the plagues that are written in this book." The reason I make an issue of this is that current Adventist apologists for evangelical ideas and alliances are trying to water down the warnings we have been given about the danger of the religious right in America. Here is what a different prominent Adventist internet writer and commentator wrote regarding the evangelical movement. unless and until evangelical Christians start publicly pushing a Sunday law with full knowledge of the biblical issues involved, and that has not happened yet, they are not our enemies. This pushes the danger the second beast poses far into the future, if ever. It is very true that the faithful people attending churches every Sunday are not our enemies. No one I know of has said they are. But the churches they belong to are specifically identified by Ellen White as the movement which sets up the image to the papacy and persecutes the faithful in America. Let's take a look at it, again, in great controversy. The wide diversity of belief in the Protestant churches is regarded by many as decisive proof that no effort to secure a forced uniformity can ever be made. But there has been for years in the churches of the Protestant faith a strong and growing sentiment in favor of a union based upon common points of doctrine. To secure such a union, the discussion of subjects upon which all were not agreed, however important they might be from a Bible standpoint, must necessarily be waived. Charles Beecher, in a sermon in the year 1846, declared that the ministry of the evangelical Protestant denominations is not only formed all the way up under a tremendous pressure of merely human fear, but they live and move and breathe in a state of things radically corrupt, and appealing every hour to every baser element of their nature to hush up the truth and bow the knee to the power of apostasy. Great Controversy 444 to 445. Continuing in a different place, as the Protestant churches reject the clear scriptural arguments in defense of God's law, they will long to silence those whose faith they cannot overthrow by the Bible. Though they blind their own eyes to the fact, they are now adopting a course which will lead to the persecution of those who conscientiously refuse to do what the rest of the Christian world are doing, and acknowledge the claims of the papal Sabbath. Great Controversy 592. This proves conclusively that the second beast has been forming since before Adventism even came into existence. Foolish attempts to be friends with this movement are dangerous and futile. Adventist leadership met extensively with evangelical leaders in the 1950s. After all of the compromises and efforts to tone down our distinctive doctrines to appease them, one of these evangelical leaders said specifically, "I curse the Seventh-day Sabbath." They may not be the enemies of Adventists, but they certainly are the enemies of God's truth. That's all for now. There is a second question that I will address in the next video. Now that we have established beyond a shadow of a doubt the identity of the two beasts, we need to ask which of the two beasts is more dangerous, especially in our immediate future. Stay tuned.